said Trump is all. I love the blacks love me, and then does that BS.
Yeah, that's what he does. He just lies. Black people, they love me. They do. They invited me to the cookout. They did. I said, wow, what a beautiful barbecue. This is, wow. That is unbelievable. Those ribs, they smell delicious. Oh, I love the collard greens too, a little too spicy for my taste, but... Welcome back, chat. Today, we're gonna react to another Groiper. Oh boy. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to start calling this Groiper Reacts. Okay, we're looking at JimmyTalks. JimmyTalks, you might remember him if you watched my reaction to Tom Foe the other day. But anyway, he has a new video called Nationalism is the Only Way Forward. Let's go.
Real quick, how nationalism is being attacked and why it's really just the only solution at this point. So let's start off with the beginning of why people don't really like nationalism, or how it was fed to them to not like nationalism anyways, for a very long time. So to do this, let's go over collectivism and individualism. And there is a fine line between both of these, and it's an important balance that any healthy society has to maintain. So what collectivism is that we as in a society, are all in this together. We're all in life together. We all have shared goals, and we all have what one could call a shared destiny, and this requires a mutual, meaning everybody's on board with this, sacrifice, whatever that may be. Individualism, on the other hand, is the belief in personal freedom, self-reliance, and the right to pursue your own happiness. So a functioning society needs both of these things. You need the collective spirit to build buildings and infrastructure, all the roads. You need them for the nation, defending the military, stuff like that. And it's for caring for people who genuinely can't care for themselves. But you also need individualism to drive innovation and make new products or make new cars, whatever it is. You need that for also rewarding hard work, so people have an incentive to even work. And you also need this to protect citizens from an overbearing totalitarian state. But the problem we face today is that this balance has been utterly destroyed between collectivism and individualism. We have been pushed very far into a toxic, dysfunctional, hyper-individualistic society that the very concept of a collective good becomes a joke. So this didn't happen by accident, it was actually engineered over time. And the reason, or the how, that they did it this way is because to take someone over, before you physically take them over, you need to take their brain over. So that's really how it started. They got into people's heads. Now, let me explain this through a quick example. Let's take society and picture it like it's a house instead. The house is on fire. If you watch my past videos, you may already know where I'm about to go with this. However, anyways, the house is on fire. And most decent people will have an innate drive, it's a collectivist instinct, to maybe want to grab a bucket of water and start putting out the house fire. You know, these people, they'll see a danger and they want to contribute to the solution. That's just how society worked for a very long time. But what happens when people get their bucket of water and they're at the house fire and they're at the door? The door is locked. But standing in front of this locked door are the corrupt institutions that we have today. They are the politicians, the lawmakers, and really just the entire system of all these people. These gatekeepers don't just block the door. They tell the people that want to help that they are actually the problem for wanting to help. They tell the people that their water is, let's just say it's the wrong kind of water. It's a really stupid reason, but that's what they would do. This system would tell the people's concern about the house fire that the fire is actually a form of arson. Hey. They're told that the real solution is to let the house burn down so that...
How are you doing?
Miami__ said, how is your streaming going so far?
Oh, it is just peachy, man. It's really great. Thank you for asking. We're reacting to, this racist.
That a new, better, more, air quotes, equitable house can be built. And this will also be a house that you will have no say in designing. So after being turned away enough times by these people to put out the house fire and being vilified for even wanting to help save their own community, the average person's reaction is completely rational after some time. They'll say something like, fine, fuck it, screw it. If you won't let me put out this house fire in my neighborhood, then I'm just going to look out for myself and my own family. Let the whole thing burn. So this is how you breed hyper-individualism, just in a little example that I've made. You create a system where trying to be a good citizen and trying to participate in the collective good is now a punishable offense. And I'll give you some real examples as the video goes on. But people will start to withdraw from this, and they'll see that everyone is for themselves now. So this corruption of hyper-individualism is really just the core of the sickness. As I said, there needs to be a fine balance between collectivism and individualism. But politicians are the most glaring example of this broken system. They are not public servants. They do not work for you. They are just employees of the donor class. The people who own the rich companies, the ones that make a shit ton of money and pay them, those are really who are running the country. So the lawmakers' primary job is not to represent the citizens who elected them, but it's really just the interest of the mega corporations, the banks, the super rich people who fund their campaigns and guarantee their lavish lifestyle while they're a politician or even afterwards. So this creates a government that is just hostile to the people it's supposed to govern. You see this most clearly in the tax system, though, and this is really just a machine for punishing productivity and rewarding parasitism. You have massive companies,
Really?
Walmart, Amazon, all of them. You can name off 20 of them, right? These massive companies don't pay taxes. They have teams of lawyers, and they have headquarters which are in different countries with different tax laws, and this is part of the loopholes that they abuse, and they navigate those exact loopholes to pay little to nothing in taxes. If you remember when Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton were debating in 2016, Hillary tried to hit Donald Trump with a gotcha, like, hey, you don't pay taxes, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, yeah, you don't either. Neither do your donors. And that's why you didn't do anything about actually changing that bullshit.
Yeah, and that, yeah, interesting. I remember that. I remember seeing that. I remember thinking that was awesome. You know? But what did Donald Trump do after that when he won? What did he do? Oh, that's right. Oh, he didn't fix the tax code. Oh, he broke it even more. Oh man. Oh, wait. Oh, he gave tax breaks to all of his rich friends. Whoops. That's so crazy.
Because your people benefit from it. So they've admitted it on TV. It's not a conspiracy anymore. They've talked about it in front of the whole entire nation. Meanwhile, the average worker, the person like you and I who actually builds things and provides a service, whatever that may be, is bled dry. Go look at your paycheck if you haven't in a while. I know a lot of you get direct deposits, so you don't really look at it. But go look at the federal and state taxes that are taken out. You'd be shocked if you haven't checked in a while that a quarter or more of your paycheck goes to federal taxes. And that doesn't even count states. Some states have extremely high taxes. Basically, in other words, everyone is just bled dry. It's not just the substantial chunk taken from every paycheck either via income tax. There's also sales tax on every single purchase. There's property taxes on the home.
No, the problem isn't that everybody's getting bled dry. It's that taxes, there is no welfare. Okay, there's no welfare for anyone at all. Not really. What welfare programs do we have that are at the disposal of the average person? That would be Medicaid. Okay, sucks. Unemployment, not great. SNAP benefits, probably the best thing that we've got. But they're constantly talking about taking it away, about getting rid of it, about cutting it even more than they already have, which they did this year, by the way. They kicked 17 million people off of SNAP. And then, of course, there was the shutdown, and, people on SNAP couldn't receive their benefits for a month. So what's really going on here, I don't know what this person is going to say, but if they say tax cuts, I have unfortunate news for you, man. We've been doing tax cuts, okay? We've been doing lots of tax cuts for rich people, okay? So when you advocate for lower taxes, guess who gets the lower taxes? Okay, it's not you. It's not fucking you,
There's
dumbass.
Taxes on gas. There's vehicle registration fees. There's tolls on the roads you already paid for, like toll booths. There's fees for a permit, or the fee of having to get insurance for a car that you bought with your own money, and if you don't have it, then you're going to go to jail. The money taken from you is then used to fund the very policies that undermine your community, which is obviously what I talk about a lot on here, which is mass immigration, and this suppresses your wages, foreign wars that serve other nations' interests, cough, cough, if you know, you know. Most of my viewers do. And a bloated, very bloated bureaucracy's interest, cough, cough, which is mass immigration, and this suppresses your wages, foreign wars that serve other nations' interests, cough, cough, if you know, you know. Most of my viewers
talking about Israel.
And a bloated, very bloated bureaucracy that just does nothing. Half these government workers are just the laziest scum you've ever met. They don't even know what they're doing half the time. It only exists to serve itself. All right. So this creates a society where participating in it feels like a scam. So when people saying they want to opt out of the system, I don't necessarily blame them. I don't think this is the right thing to do, but I also
brown
totally
people are scamming us. They don't know what they're doing. They're not. They are They are stupid. They do not know. We are importing their skilled labor, and they are dumb. Yeah, man. Yeah, so true. Do you have any evidence of this? Do you have any evidence to back this up? Hello?
Really do get where you're coming from, and it makes sense, right? So why would anyone want to partake in a collectivist kind of mindset that is so blatantly rigged against them? this sense of shared purpose is just evaporated when you look at all this stuff. The trust in society collapses. We no longer live in a high trust society. So this leads to a degradation in society that gets into every single facet of life. This is the family, which is really the building block of any society. It gets in the economy, it gets in culture, relationships, also in the workplace, and also with other employees and employers. And really, it's not like a bond between employee and employer anymore, like it used to be. Granted, that was a long time ago, before I was even alive. It's really just a contract with no loyalty on either side. So this hyper-individualism has its most extreme and disturbing manifestation when we look at kids in school with the transgenderism thing that's going on. So back in the day, you might have had one kid in school who was like a little bit off. He was just different. Everyone suspected like this kid was gay or something, but that was really just about the end of it. Maybe he got older and he was, but like that was really just the end of it. Today, though, it is not uncommon to find multiple kids in a single classroom who are claiming to be a transgender. Like these kids in school nowadays, man, I guess I was too. I'm not that old, but I'm still in my 20s. But man, it's really eye-opening to see how much they're being attacked by the propaganda machine at such a young age. This is not natural. This isn't a natural phenomenon to say these like, hey, I want to, do these. I got to censor myself for YouTube, guys. I hope you understand. But, chop your...
This is not real. What he's talking about is just transphobic, and that's it. Trans people make up 0.1% of the population, so the odds of you walking into a classroom and finding multiple trans people is incredibly unlikely. Maybe not unheard of, but incredibly unlikely. Trans people are just like you and me, man. They're just normal people. I've said this before. The only thing different about them is their trans identity. That's it. That's it. They're just... It's not weird, okay? It's not crazy. It's just a new thing. And it's not really a new thing. Okay, it's just that it kind of like how when being gay became permissible in our society, you started seeing a lot more gay people. Okay, and this is because being gay became permissible in our society, so people started coming out. Okay, it's the same thing with trans people. They've always been there, they've just lived in the shadows because that's where they were delegated. That's where they were pushed into. Okay, they were pushed into hiding.
Your thing off, right? Or like, what's going on here? What are we doing? This is a symptom of a society that has stripped young people of all of its stable identity.
They're trans in the kids, like brother. They're trans in them.
Identity, the familial identity, and even at this point, the biological identity. Now, if you're feeling stressed and depressed by this point in the video, that's fine. I get it. But just wait till the end, because I have a solution to about 90% of the videos that I post. But anyways, when you destroy every higher loyalty and purpose like they have, you create sort of a vacuum. And this vacuum is filled up by the cult of the self. And the only thing that matters is you and your feelings. For example, a child that's, for one reason or another, confused about their identity, and they may think they're gay or whatever, they're not just helped out by their family and like, hey, Dad, let me talk to you about whatever, right? Instead, they are celebrated by institutions that are deep into cultural Marxism. And this is an ideology that views the West and everything that's good about it, the destruction of all traditional norms and this, that, and the other, as good things. This is a form of progress to them. So this ideology didn't start naturally, grassroots. It didn't start like this. This was pushed from the top down. As I said earlier in the video, this was engineered. It was pushed from the top down by influential groups who see a...
So for any of you that don't know, cultural Marxism is made up. I mean, all words are made up, right? But it's like, it's not real. It's not a real ideology that people genuinely hold, okay? Cultural Marxism is a phrase that right-wing, talkers, right-wing grifters, they came up with, okay, to write off leftists, okay? They say, well, that's cultural Marxism, okay? You're a fucking Marxist. Shut the fuck up. You're a crazy communist. That's it. That's all it fucking is. It's like, there are real Marxist ideologies, right? There's a bunch of them. A bunch of fucking Marxist ideologies. But cultural Marxism isn't one of them. It's not genuinely one of them. It's just made up. It's just not real. That's it.
Nation of people that are fractured and they're all disillusioned and they're hyper individualistic.
It is often used as a stand-in for Western Marxism, which is a real ideology, ideology that is based off of Gramsci's writings. Okay, Gramsci was, of course, the Italian Marxist writer okay, who was imprisoned for his political views during the reign of Mussolini, the fascist dictator of Italy. A lot of people forget about him, right? Because he was kind of overshadowed by Hitler. But anyway, Mussolini imprisoned him, and so he wrote in code, and it was deciphered by historians long after Gramsci was, dead. And because it was written in code, a lot of ideology spawned from it, because there's many different ways to interpret it. But anyway, cultural Marxism is not one of them.
It's literally that simple. And also, the answer to reverse this is also extremely simple. It's just nationalism, which is precisely why it is under such relentless attack. If somebody's a nationalist, they are attacked relentlessly in the media. You even have people that proclaim that they're America First or on the right wing.
Not really. Not anymore. No, like maybe you guys are attacked, yeah, in the mainstream media, sure. The Groypers, yeah, I could see that. But no, there are hyper nationalists in the mainstream media that are palatable. Tucker Carlson is a great example of this. He's a proponent of the white replacement theory. Okay, he's a super nationalist. Like, come on, like you don't think he is, or do you think he's like constantly under attack? I mean, I don't know, maybe by leftists, but since he lost his platform on Fox News, he's mostly just ignored by mainstream outlets.
The MAGA cultists, but then they'll follow Trump behind still just pretty much giving illegals amnesty and not deporting as many as he said he would, or selling out to Israel. But really, nationalism is normal. It's just the desire for your nation and your people to be secure and prosperous and self-governing. It's that simple. It's really not a bad thing, and it wasn't seen as a bad thing.
That's all it is.
This is kind of a new idea, right? So it's just a political expression
new
of the
idea.
Instinct that people had.
It's a new idea. It's just part of the idea that he's talking about is really old. Okay, like over 100 years old at this point. Okay, like this nationalism thing sort of been around for hundreds of years, but it really kicked off with fascism. Okay, that's what happened.
Be something larger than yourself. This is, like I said, this has just been normal for all of human time, for any healthy country. We are living in a very bizarre historical moment where this basic natural instinct is portrayed as evil.
Normal, not really. Okay, now all countries, so it gets murky the further back you go. Okay, and the reason why is because countries didn't really exist. Okay, not back then. I mean, they did, but like if you went up to a rural farmer in the 17th century and you were like, "Hey, what country are you in?" They'd be like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like, what do you mean?" Okay, like it wasn't really a thing in most places. Okay, people didn't know that they were in a country. Okay, they just knew that they were on Earth. Okay, they knew that they were in where they were. Okay, that's it. But anyway, all nations, right? When a country forms a national identity, people take pride in their national identity. They do. Okay, patriotism is everywhere. Okay, but healthy patriotism is different from nationalism. Okay, like it's hard to say when patriotism turns into nationalism, because there isn't like a line, a defined line in the sand that, patriotism becomes nationalism, or at least not one that I know of. Okay, maybe there is, but anyway, nationalism is just a more extreme form of patriotism. Okay, and it's problematic for many reasons. Okay, because when you become an extreme nationalist, you you have to look for the other, right? The outside group, and you need to do something about them. You need to expel them. You need to control them. Something. Okay, you need to ethnically cleanse them. Basically, okay. This is what nationalism eventually devolves into. It devolves into ethnic cleansing, murder. That's what it is, man. Okay, if you want to make the argument that nationalism is wholesome and epic, I'm never going to buy that. I'm never going to fucking buy that, okay? That's it.
But the reason is simple, yet again, like I said. Nationalism is the single greatest obstacle to the globalist, air quotes, agenda. So you may be thinking to yourself, well, okay, I understand why attacking nationalism, like why they do it. I don't agree with it, but I understand why they do it. So how exactly do they do that? Well, let me tell you. The first form is economic warfare, basically. A nationalist populace is terrible for the business model of globalist companies, CEOs, and all those kinds of people. Nationalism also means strong borders and not importing infinity Indians. So you can't have illegals that you're paying slave wages.
So he's kind of right about this, okay? Nationalism can be an obstacle for corporations, okay? Because what do corporations want? They want to maximize profits. Okay, what does that mean? That means they sell their product or service to as many customers as possible. Okay, a nationalist movement creates a problem for that. Okay, it creates a problem because, like obviously, nationalism is exclusionary by nature. It is it's like you're either in the in group or you're not. Okay, and so nationalist people, they don't want to buy goods or services that are produced by the other or are consumed by the other, right? They want their own thing. They want their own nationalist good, okay? They want their own nationalist service. Okay, it's silly, but it's true. Okay, that's what they want. They want, and this is in an effort to, or at least what they will say, this is in an effort to boost the economy of the, in this case, it's America. Okay, American nationalists want to see the U.S. economy improve, and they think that the way to do this is to be more exclusionary, is to be more nationalist. And that's not the case, man. Okay, that's why isolationism will wreck our economy. It will. It does it. It always does. Okay, it wrecks every economy. Because when you say, like, we're not gonna do business with these people, we're not gonna like allow our corporations to do business with them, or anyone outside of America, it creates a major hole in the pocket of these corporations. Okay, they start hemorrhaging, and that's bad for the economy. That's real bad for the economy. Okay, and then people start getting laid off,
they're treating them bad.
which only exacerbates the feelings that create this nationalist movement in the first place.
You know, like, let's just speak about humans here. They're treating them bad too. They're treating them like slaves. I don't think they should be here, but I also don't think that they should be given these slave wages. You know, that should be a job for an American. They should be working in their own.
Yeah. I mean, this is the argument. You know, this is the common sentiment. Oh, we don't want brown people to work for slave wages in America. We want to, deport them in a very humanitarian way. Okay, and then we can give these jobs to Americans. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. The problem is that corporations don't want to do this. They don't want to hire Americans, okay? Because Americans want safer working environments. They want more money. So when we start deporting a lot of these illegals, a lot of these brown people, what ends up happening is these companies don't replace them, okay? They just make the other illegal workers work twice as hard, okay, to make up for their missing comrades. So that's how it works.
country. But they're also abusing these people. They're also bringing in H-1Bs, and this suppresses the native population's wages. Also,
And look, I am not for any kind of worker exploitation. I do not want migrants, illegal or otherwise, to work for starvation wages. Okay, to work for less than minimum wage, and minimum wage is already a starvation wage. Okay, and many of them do. And I think that that's really sad. I think that we need to do something about that. I don't think that that thing that we need to do is fucking deport them brutally to El Salvador, to CICOT, or to fucking Alligator Alcatraz. Like, this is crazy, man.
Nationalism
What the
is a
fuck
lot
are we
about tariffs
talking about?
and protecting domestic industries from being wiped out by cheap foreign goods produced with slave labor or massive subsidies like we see with Made in India, Made in China. There's a bunch of people like Chinese sweatshops. So if you don't know about those, look into them. I forgot which factory it was. It may have been an Apple factory, but the building had nets.
Bro, we're in 2025. We know about the Chinese factories. You're talking about a fact that is like 20 years old at this point. Like, yes, China has cheap labor. That's how they did that on purpose. Okay, they beat us in capitalism. They did it to beat us. That's what they did. And the reason that they were able to get away with it, because you might be wondering, like, why didn't Chinese people rebel against this? And the answer is they kind of did. Okay, but the reason that Chinese people didn't go harder in these brutal conditions, it's not because they're like a servile subspecies of human or whatever the fuck racist right-wing people will say. It's because Chinese people were given social safety nets. They were given welfare. Okay, they were given free shit. Okay, so even though they worked in brutal conditions, even though they worked for low wages, they were given most of the things that they needed to survive by the Chinese government. Okay, except for healthcare, depending on the time period that we're talking about. There was a time where the healthcare system in China was completely privatized. So, yeah, that's how it works.
All around it, so people couldn't jump out the window and kill themselves because they were jumping out the windows and killing themselves instead of working in a Chinese sweatshop. But that's the kind of stuff that we have. Like, those are the iPhones that people use, and that's how they're made. And that's the way they choose it to be because it's a lot cheaper to do that instead of paying an American a good wage with health insurance and retirement and maybe a matching 401k, something like that. But instead, we see the opposite. We see importing infinity foreigners who take slave wages, H-1Bs. The borders are wide open. The native population can't find jobs even though they're all going to college or trade schools. It's crazy. It's absolutely wild. So this is really the first part of the destruction of nationalism, so to say. It's the economic front. But this economic warfare brings me on to my next point, and these do tie together. It's about eliminating opposition. A nation is the largest possible unit of sovereignty, right? Like a big group of people. There are people with a shared identity, shared history, common interests. They can organize. They have the same language. They can demand change, hold their rulers accountable. That's what a nation is, right? But this is terrifying for the ruling class. So the solution to counter this for them is to dissolve the nation from within. So by promoting mass immigration from radically different cultures, they intentionally create a society of competing.
Yeah, you know what's not terrifying to the elites? Radical wealth redistribution, which leftists advocate for. Yeah, that doesn't terrify them at all. You know what does terrify them, though? Racism. Fucking nationalism. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's what scares them, I'm sure.
Identity
sure.
Groups. This is part of the eliminating opposition part that I just said. I hope that makes sense now. So they'll pit everyone.
Because the oligarchs in Nazi Germany were so scared of the fascist movement. They were just so scared of nationalists. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were terrified, man. Yeah, they totally didn't, make a fuck ton of money.
Against everyone else, like race against race, citizen against immigrant, native against foreigner, all that. And yes, that stuff does matter, but they're just trying to distract you, right? All the political energy that should be directed upward, like the head of the snake is what you need to start with, and toward the corrupt elites in charge, yada, yada. This is all diverted into fighting someone else. Now, I'm not saying we need to team up with the immigrants and this, that, and the other. There's still problems, but you get what I'm saying. They're
Yeah, never do that. Never team up with the immigrants. Let me give you a good
example of this. We'll see, like, the ultra MAGA, ultra loyal to Trump, MAGA Facebook.
I mean, what is this, man? If you want to make change, shouldn't you try to team up with as many like-minded individuals as possible? Like, there are racist brown people too. They'll be racist with you. Okay, why not? I genuinely don't understand. Like, oh no, we can't team up with the immigrants. No, they're the other guys. You got to remember that.
grandpa.
You
and
gotta
he'll be
keep
like,
that in
everything is
mind.
because of the woke left. And I'm like, well, there's some truth in that, but it's actually not everything. And those people can be saved at the end of the day, both politically and obviously and religiously. But then you'll also have the insane liberals, and they'll be like, it's the racist right. It's all them. They're all bad. Because that is just a safe argument that never questions the underlying system. Those were just some examples there. They will never allow a conversation that unites people.
We don't call you racist to write you off, okay? I mean, we kind of do, okay? But, like, it's not just to write you off. Because words have meaning. Words have definitions. When someone calls you a racist, it is probably not to just shut you down, because there are other ways of doing that. They're probably doing it because they think you're racist. They think what you said is racist. That's it. Okay? So if you want to say, well, actually, you're just saying that to shut me down, then you should try to, maybe argue that you're not a racist. Right? Like, you should try to say, oh, well, actually, I'm not a racist. But the thing is, you can't do that. You can't fucking do that, because you are. Because you say racist shit. So, you're actually, every accusation is a confession. Because you're actually doing the same thing that you claim the leftist is doing when they call you a racist. You're shutting them down by claiming that, oh, you're just calling me a racist just because you don't like what I'm saying, because I'm mean or whatever. Okay? So you're writing other people off, and then you're saying that they're doing that to you. And it's like, we're not, man. We're not. Like, I'm sitting here, I'm listening to you right now. I'm listening to you rattle off all these racist talking points. And, I genuinely think you're a racist. I'm not just saying that to shut you down. Okay, if I did that, I would just click off the fucking video. Okay, like, no, I know you're racist, and I want to keep hearing it. I want to hear what else you have to say.
Across these divides. And this is really why they do these things. They throw these out there to distract you, right? So those who are in charge are feeling this fire. But those same exact people, like the ones in charge I just said, they will certainly never name the specific small group that is overwhelmingly represented in the leadership of the institutions. Like
he's talking
media,
about Jews.
like in finance, like in big tech, like in academia, that are pushing this disruptive ideology.
Yeah, bro, it's
across
Jews.
Every,
it's
not
just
America,
Jews,
but
bro.
every Western nation.
You're so right.
If you know.
Yeah,
people
based. Based, am I right?
Nationalism, again,
am I
is
right,
the antidote to all of this. This gets over the divide and conquer strategy. This is the one force that can reunite people against their true oppressors.
Oh, my bad, Donut. I didn't
is the
see that. Do you think most white countries look the way it does if people of color were gone? Hell no. Hell no. It'd be much worse. It'd be way worse. The fuck? If people of color were gone? What do you mean by gone? Like, what kind of scenario are we talking about here? Are we talking, like, remigration? Okay, like ethnic cleansing, like mass murder of brown people?
Chocolate Donuts asks, so why do they POC so much?
Why do they POC so much? I'm guessing you meant hate. Why do they hate POC so much? So
Chocolate
I've
Donuts
talked about this
said
before.
meant if they migrated somewhere else.
If they willingly migrated somewhere else, the country would still be a lot worse, but at least we wouldn't have the stain of ethnic
Chocolate
cleansing.
Donuts said sorry. I meant why do they hate them?
The reason that nationalists, that like these racist-ass white people, the reason they hate people of color is because, and I've described this before, okay, it is the material conditions of these white people. Okay, white people be poor, okay, white people be looking for things to blame for being poor. You can't blame the rich people because from a very young age, we are taught that rich people deserve what they have, rich people worked hard for what they have, it's meritocracy, they just pulled themselves up by their bootstraps, okay, small loan of $1 million, and so you can't blame the rich people. So who do you blame? Well, the only other option is one of the groups, okay? One of the immigrant groups, okay? Any of them. All of them. Fuck it. You know, why not? Like, all the non-whites, okay? Or like, maybe the whites, okay? I don't know. Maybe it's the fucking Catholics, right? Because that's where we're going next, okay, right? Today it's Mexicans. Today it's Mexicans and trans people. Tomorrow it's communist and the Irish, okay, the Scottish. That's what's going on, man. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Let's keep going.
But I'll give you another example of how nationalism is attacked. This isn't as much in the United States. I don't know about Canada.
Is attacked.
Love our brothers
We are
in the
under
North,
attack.
But, I simply just don't know for them. I'm going to be honest here. But I do know the most in like UK, Europe, and Germany. All across Europe, right? It's particularly the most famous in the UK. Where if you make a Facebook post or a Telegram post or really just like anything, it's just social media, right? If you insult the government.
Okay, so they're talking about this a lot. They're like hitting this note over and over again. And you know, look, that's the UK, man. That's the UK. Like, okay, are we gonna do that here? Well, we already have. Okay, we already have, but you don't want to talk about it because this is politics and it's a team sport and your side is the one doing it and my side or whatever isn't doing it yet. Okay, but we'll see if that changes. Okay, so what I'm talking about specifically is the arrest of multiple students, non-US citizens, but students in America who were expressing their anti-Israel, pro-Palestine opinions. And they were arrested for that. And in my opinion, that is a violation of our Constitution. That actually, it's not just my opinion. That is a violation of our Constitution. That is a violation of the First Amendment. Okay? But anyway, nobody gives a fuck because they're brown, okay, or whatever. They're not Americans or some shit, okay? I don't know. Anyway, so conservatives, groypers as well, they want to talk about this, okay? They want to talk about freedom of speech and how they love it and how they cherish it, despite the fact that their representatives did that. Okay. So they're talking about the UK, okay? Now the UK, much like every other European country, like Germany, like all these European countries, they don't have freedom of speech, okay? You are not allowed to say certain things. You can't say whatever you want. Now, I don't like that. I'm an American. But, like, they're European. Okay, so, like, I'm not going to walk up into their country and be like, this is what I think that we should do. This is what I think. I think that you should have freedom of speech. Well, it's not my fucking country. Like, that would be really stupid. That would be a dumb thing to do. So, why are we talking about this? Okay, why? Yeah, she got arrested because she called someone gay. Oh well. Oh well, I don't give a fuck, okay? Like, let the Brits worry about that shit. I don't care. I don't care. If they want to do freedom of speech now, then they can push for it in their own country. This doesn't affect us. This has nothing to do with us. Why the fuck are we talking about
or
it?
the illegal immigrants, and you're like, hey, we're being replaced by whatever, blah, 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 insult.
That didn't even happen. No, man, that didn't even fucking happen. They will arrest you for being anti-Israel. Okay, they'll do that. I have never heard of, and maybe I just don't know about it. Maybe, I don't know, but I have never heard of somebody being arrested for, like, being too racist. Other than, like, maybe that one guy that did a fucking hate crime. What was his name? Tommy something? Tommy whatever the fuck, I don't know. Racist motherfucker. Like, he did a fucking hate crime, though, if I recall correctly. And that's why he was arrested. So, if you have another example of somebody being, like, racist and getting arrested for it, then, you know, you can present that. And I would still say that that's wrong. I don't think you should arrest someone for being racist. But again, it's a different country. It's not my
put you in
country.
jail and call it a hate crime. So the citizens
not
of these
your
countries
country.
are finding out the hard way that criticizing the government's immigration policies is not free speech anymore. This is now a prosecutable offense. And while these countries may do have free speech due to however their laws are set up, I can't really find the right words to describe it again.
No, they don't have free speech. What? What? No country has free speech. Except for ours, allegedly. Okay, but not really. Not anymore. Okay, maybe it used to. But yeah, like, what the fuck are you going on about, man? That's just dumb. That's just stupid. What?
I'm American, everybody knows this, they hear me when I talk American first and all that, blah, blah, blah. But they'll take free speech and they'll move it around, they'll mess with it and be like, see, here's where you're actually not talking about politics. Now you're actually talking about hate speech. And they spin the laws around. The judges, half of them are fucking corrupt. It's absolutely insane. You know, ordinary people are being arrested for posting a comment online, or for making a joke in a text message that's screenshotted and reported, or for engaging in a peaceful protest. They're being charged.
Oh no, things are happening in other countries that I don't like. The government is doing things to people that I don't like. Like, yeah, man. Welcome to the world. Welcome to fucking life on Earth. Crazy, I know.
Charged with hate speech or whatever bullshit charge they want to give you, and they actually get jail time, like sometimes a year or two in jail for saying a no-no word, for the crime of saying, hey, I don't like the demographic transformation of my homeland. But this is the logical endpoint when
Okay,
we're doing this.
fucking black people in our country are over-policed, and they go to jail for a year over stupid bullshit over all the time. Okay, and I was making fun just a second ago, but like genuinely, going to prison, even for just a year, even for just a minor offense, it's a big deal. Okay, it really can destroy your life temporarily. Okay, it can, I don't really think that anybody's life can be ruined. Okay, like no life is really, but like it does ruin your life temporarily. Like you go to jail, you lose your job. Okay, if you get a year-long sentence, you lose whatever job you had. Everything you got going on is just paused. Okay, it's a problem. It's a big deal. But anyway, black people in our country experience this with regularity, with routine. Okay, but you're not fucking talking about that. You're just talking about fucking people can't be racist in Bing Bong land. Oh no.
See everything that's going on.
Oh,
that advances
boo hoo.
The, air quotes, globalist goals. So you can't vote a policy away because your politicians are all paid for. You can't protest without being labeled an extremist by a Palantir AI camera, or just like your liberal cousin who hates you, or the other way around. And when you can't speak your mind in a private conversation, and even though I don't care about Israel or Palestine, I still do feel pretty bad for the Palestinian people. They say free Palestine. It's like, what, did you just say some hate speech against Israel? It's like, no. But people are afraid to even speak out now. You can't do this anymore. The social contract is no longer broken. It's now inverted the other way. But the state, which is supposed to be the protector of the people, then becomes the jailer for the crime of wanting to protect themselves. This harsh and heavy-handed oppression of people does not make them like, oh, yeah, I was wrong. You're right. I'll go to jail. You're totally right. This just pours gasoline on the fire for nationalism, really. Throwing a Mima or a Papa in prison for a Facebook post does not convince his neighbors that mass immigration is wonderful. It just convinces them that, actually, those people in jail are right. My government is hostile. I'm being taken over by an occupying force that views me as an enemy. It just doesn't work. You're just making it even worse. Each arrest, each headline about a citizen jailed for speaking the truth, that everyone can see with their own eyes, by the way. They're like, hey, he said that mass immigration is a problem? Oh, actually, yeah, he's right. Oh, he said that the juice boxes control it, or dem boys control everything?
Donuts said,
yeah, that's actually true. Why are you in jail?
But sometimes I just can't defend a group of people that have no passion for my life.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about like racist white people, yeah, man. Yeah, I struggle with that too, and I'm one of them. I'm a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, and I can't stand these motherfuckers. Yeah, I mean, I hope that they change. They've gone down the wrong path. I hope that they can turn around, but the sad truth is that they won't. They never will.
Chocolate Donuts said, well, not just that, but Hispanics are just as racists. Palestinians are kind to blacks and gays.
Yeah, Palestinian people are very, very nice. Very good people. DJ Khaled is Palestinian. Okay. When I found out about that shit was crazy. I was like, what? Fucking DJ Khaled, it's Palestinian? I think DJ Khaled is probably the worst Palestinian. Like, of all the ones that I know of all the Palestinians I've seen, he's probably the least likable. Okay. But he's still like
Chocolate Donuts said, damn, I type horrible. Meant Palestinians aren't kind to blacks and gays, too.
Oh. Yeah, well. If you say so. Oh, yeah, I mean, of course they're not, yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean, yeah. Look, man, you have to keep in mind the culture. Okay, you always hear right-wing people talking about culture. Culture. Okay, our culture became tolerant of gay people because of the civil rights movement. Okay, these other countries, like Palestine, they did not have the opportunity to have a civil rights movement because they were constantly being bombed by Israel. Okay, the same could be, to an extent, the same thing can be said about South America. Okay, a lot of these South American countries have experienced a lot of instability. Okay, a lot of antagonization from our country. There have been regime changes, there have been bombings, in some cases there have been boots on the ground throughout the last few decades. And what that has meant is these countries have not had the opportunity to have a civil rights movement. Okay? And, you know, I'm sorry, but you just can't expect a society, a group of people, to become LGBTQ allies overnight. Okay, they have to come around to it with their own civil rights movement, but they can't do that when they're experiencing turmoil, when they're experiencing poverty, abject poverty. It's just not possible. You know, we live in real life, and it is what it is. Black countries can be beautiful, but how do you expect that to occur when their resources are stolen and land being demolished? It's such BS how people think a country is mostly white is beautiful. You cannot have a nice country without corruption and slave labor.
No, but we are using religion that we don't know if it's real. I am not shitting on people's religion, but we don't know if that's how it started.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. We don't know. Yeah. Well, you know, the thing about that is, man, when we're talking about Christianity, I can't really speak for the other religions, but like homophobia is rooted in Paul's text, right? Paul wrote some homophobic shit, but when you contextualize this and I know I've talked about this before, you probably remember, but you have to contextualize these things. You have to understand why Paul said that, and, you know, like I said, the reason that people did this in retrospect is because of liberal democracy. It's because we built this society where the reason that the civil rights happened in this country, in America, is because of FDR. Okay, if you don't know, FDR was a Democrat. He was a president, and he was the Democrat that kind of changed the whole Democrat Party. Okay, because before this, Democrats were the working class party, but they were also the racism party. Okay. And I'm sorry, Democrats were the racism party, they were not the working class party. Okay? After FDR, the Democrats became the working class party, as well as the racism party. Okay? But this didn't really work for very long, because when you're the racism party, you can't really do class solidarity very well. You can't you can't rally people around that. But anyway, it was the uplifting of the working class under FDR, using FDR's alphabet soup, that we created the conditions where we could have a civil rights movement. Okay, basically, in order to have a civil rights movement, you need everybody to be living in good conditions, with everything that they need. Okay, whether it's provided to them by the government or because they have a job and can buy things in the free market or whatever. Okay, you need to have people well fed and with a roof over their heads, and then you can do that. Okay, the problem is that these countries that Americans see as backwards, as fundamentalist, they cannot meet these conditions, and so they will remain backwards and fundamentalist. They can't meet these conditions because of our country. Because our country is bombing them, killing them, brutalizing them. That's it. But anyway, you were talking about Africa and how it's a beautiful country, and it is. Not country. Beautiful continent, okay, collection of countries. And it is. Africa is a beautiful place, and I think it's improving. It's getting better. Africans are a very resourceful people, and they've done a lot with the little that they've been given. And you've been seeing a lot of Africa make good deals with China, and I think that's going to benefit them in the long run. Okay, I think that I think that Africa, the smarter countries, are going to posture against America. Okay, and they're going to align themselves with BRICS. Okay, and you're going to see a lot more Chinese, African deals. Okay, you're going to see those relationships expand. And I think it will benefit them immensely. You know, I want to see Africa out from under the heel of America. That's what I want. Anyway, let's keep going.
Go for it. If this is free speech, why can't we just say anything we want? You won't go to jail if you say white people are the problem.
It's not fair that people want America to be beautiful and crime-free when you give them slave work with shit pay and then disrespect us. No man should be worth $1 billion. Yeah, completely agree. Yeah, and what you're pointing out here is that's just it. You know, that like they say that they want America to be safe and stable and like all this good stuff, and oh yeah, but we're gonna do this by deportations. Okay, we're gonna do this with immigration policy, and it's just so stupid. So stupid. Like, yeah, we shouldn't be paying immigrants more. We shouldn't be paying
Donuts
Americans
asks, why do these conservatives love to talk about non-whites and not the old white man with the money? Why are they such pussies to call them out?
I'll tell you why. Number one, and it's basically it's all because of propaganda. Okay, it's all because of propaganda. From an early age, Americans, it's drilled into our minds that rich people have what they have because they earned it. Okay, and that's important. Okay, that's an important distinction. Now, a lot of people from minority communities, they see through this. Okay, they see through this in their early years. Okay, but white Americans, their conditions are not bad enough for this to happen, usually. Also, they see themselves as a majority, right? Because they are a majority. And I think this makes white people feel very powerful politically. Okay? And they mistakenly think that by brutalizing the poors, right, the people below them, that they can get more for themselves. Okay? But this isn't the case. Because at this day, this may have been the case 100 years ago. Okay, like brutalizing brown people, could have unironically made life better for white people. Okay, because the conditions were different. Rich people were taxed more heavily. Okay, much more heavily. Okay, and this is because, once again, because of FDR. Okay, but the reason that we didn't do that back then is because it wasn't necessary, because rich people were being taxed. Okay, do you understand? Like conditions were high for Americans, so they didn't feel the need to do racism. Okay, they had everything that they needed. You see, and so, what was the question again? Why are they such pussies to call them out? Yeah, so, I don't really think that white people are pussies. I don't think that at all. I see, especially not Americans, okay? I don't think they're pussies. No. Actually, quite the opposite. I think Americans are brave and courageous, and they may be stupid and racist, but pussies, I don't know if I call them that. I don't know about that. I think that the reason that they don't, call it like it is, they don't say like, rich people are picking our pockets, is because it's been drilled into our heads from an early age. Okay, so you have to snap people out of this. But what I was talking about earlier is that it's hard to do that with white people. It's hard to do that with white people because all of the institutions are angled in such a way to, I wouldn't say benefit us, but harm us less than minorities. Okay, so it's not like the American institutions are like overtly racist and they just benefit white people and black people are kept down. Okay, that's close to what's happening, but not quite. Okay, because in reality, our institutions are harming everyone, just white people a lot less. Okay, so it's harder for them to wake up. If you love your people and your country, then call out these billionaires. You can't claim all lives matter, yet not defend them. You heard about that one guy who raped a woman, and that you can say rape, man. I mean, I think you can. Maybe you might get auto-modded, but you heard about the one guy who raped a woman and the judge gave him no time because his dad is like some OSU coach. I didn't even hear about that, but I fucking believe it. I believe it, man. And that is the way it goes. It's socialism for the rich. It's the rich can do whatever the fuck they want, and for poor people, it is a free-for-all. It is a free-for-all, and also the state is going to brutalize you, especially if you're brown. Okay, that's how it works. So, when white people they don't really feel the harm from the institutions, but they do feel the poverty. Okay, white people are poor. They are, on average. Okay, white people live in abject poverty. Okay, they want to blame someone. Who do they blame? They blame minorities. Okay, they do not blame rich people. This is because of propaganda. Okay, in order to snap them out of it, I don't really know what to do. I don't really know what to do about that. That's kind of what I'm trying to figure out right now with the J-Star broadcast. Okay. I think that the only way I can think of is to talk to them and try to get them to see me as just another person. A guy the other day, he called me a fucking terrorist. Okay, another guy in my comments called me a terrorist. Okay, old guy, boomer. And it's like you have to break them out of that. First, you have to somehow convince them, or I should say, I have to convince them that I'm just a normal fucking person that has opinions about politics. Okay, and that's the first step. Okay, if they're gonna write me off as a terrorist, I can't get through to them. Not even close. I have to convince them that I'm one of them, because I am. Okay, look at me. I'm a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. Okay, I am like them, and I think that means that they may be more inclined to listen to me. maybe. But it's not as much of a superpower as you might think it is. Okay, like, just because I'm white, they still call me a terrorist, man. They still say I'm making commie slop.
Chocolate Donuts said, then we need more assassinations.
No,
I'm sorry, but if they won't help us, then they are the problem that we must resolve.
So I will never advocate for chaotic violence like that. Okay? I will advocate for violence. I am not afraid of doing that. I mean, conservatives do it all the fucking time. Okay? And leftists do it sometimes too. Okay, but I'm very clear about what
Chocolate
violence
Donuts
I
said,
think
why not?
is permissible.
MLK wanted peace and they got rid of him.
Yeah, I think that was awful. I think if we start talking about assassinations seriously, like talking about normalizing it, making it permissible, who do you think is going to get targeted, man? I'll tell you who. It's going to be Hassan. Okay, it's going to be me. It's going to be people like me. Okay, not me. I have like 100 subscribers. Okay, almost. We're almost to 100, Donut. But no,
Chocolate
you
Donut
can't.
said, I know, haha.
We cannot normalize assassinations. Okay, I am all for normalizing executions. Okay, hear me out, man. Hear me out. What they do in China. If you watched my video from yesterday, which maybe you didn't, but if you watch the first minute of it, okay, I talk about this. In China, they execute rich people when they do corruption, when they kill people. Okay, so like in America, here's how it goes. You're a CEO, you make a decision that kills thousands of people, nothing happens. Okay, that's how it goes. It doesn't work like that in China. If you fuck up and kill a bunch of people,
Donuts
you're dead.
Asks, well, what is the point of an AR? We use it to kill. So, who shall we kill?
No one. No one, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. No. This is... First of all...
Donuts asks, so why do they exist?
Why do ARs exist? Because a guy invented them? Probably because of Kalashnikov. Honestly, like modern ARs. Yeah, probably because of the AK. Yeah, there was a little guy in Russia. He made a rifle that, at first it was ignored. He made some improvements to it, and now it's the greatest rifle that ever existed, and every other rifle tries to copy it. Okay?
Chocolate Donuts said, dude, you're General Z. You have to speak up when boomers die out.
They're already dying out, and I'm already speaking up. But yeah, I agree. But anyway, senseless violence like this, it's not going to accomplish what you think it will accomplish.
Chocolate Donuts
it's a bad
said,
idea.
But their grandchildren are replacing them.
True, yeah.
Chocolate Donuts said, I disagree. Cops use it to abuse their power.
You're talking about guns? Yeah, cops abuse their positions of authority all the time with regularity.
Chocolate
I speak
Donuts
out
said,
against that.
yup.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think we should disarm police. I think that we should disarm them. I think that we should totally restructure policing in general, so that it doesn't target black people. I've been saying this for many years. You had the Black Lives Matter protest, and that's around the time I came around to this. But I've always advocated for general change. Like when I was a kid and I was a Trump supporter, I actually did advocate for restructuring the police. Okay, because Trump did. Okay, a lot of people don't remember this. Trump ran on this in 2016. He ran on defunding the police. Okay, it sounds crazy, but he basically did. Not defunding, but reform. Okay, reforming the police. And did he do that? Well, yeah, fuck no. Of course he didn't. Oh.
Chocolate Donuts said we make peaceful protests and that's still not enough. At what year can we have peace and decent pay? Because it's 2025 and people are still violent for wanting human rights. Chocolate Donuts said Trump is all. I love the blacks love me, and then does that BS.
Yeah, that's what he does. He just lies. Black people, they love me. They love me, they do. They invited me to the cookout. They did. I said, wow, what a beautiful barbecue. This is, wow. That is unbelievable. Those ribs, they smell delicious. Oh, I love the collard greens too, a little too spicy for my taste, but...
Chocolate Donuts said and black artists aren't any better. They're rich, so they don't give a shit about the outcome since it won't affect them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care much for artists, and their attitudes about politics. I wouldn't write them off completely, though, like that. Like, you need to understand that, in the grand scheme of things, artists aren't that rich, okay? Like, obviously, they're, you know, the most popular ones are like, unfathomably rich to us, to me and you. But you put those same superstars next to a billionaire or even just, you know, like 100 millionaire. Okay, and it's like nothing. Okay, it's no contest. Okay. So while they are in extremely privileged positions, they aren't they're not the focus here. Okay, and I know that, you know, we can talk about how they could do more with their respective platforms or whatever. I agree with that, you know. I think the only artist that is actually using their platform for something really good, really positive, is Hassan Abi. Unironically, bro, and I wish that other people would follow him, you know, in that idea. But I don't know. You can't expect and I'm not saying like everybody should do political commentary like Hassan, right? I just mean like Hassan is very overt, he's very clear in his art. Okay, his art is streaming, right? He's a streamer, and he does political commentary. I think that other artists could make more politically charged content, but they don't. They don't make radical content because they want to appeal to as many people as possible. Okay, but I think that this is going to start to change because we are living in an increasingly polarized society. Okay, where you have lots of extremists on both sides and not as many people in the middle anymore. But yeah, don't you just love to see like Lil Wayne? Don't you just love to see Lil Wayne support Trump?
Chocolate Donuts
yeah, I love
said
that, bro.
Ishospeed acts like baboon because his viewers love seeing black people act like that for money.
I disagree with you. I don't like that you said that. I know that you're a black person, so you know, like you can say that and it's not like
Chocolate Donuts
super
said
offensive.
disagree. Dude acts ghetto in public.
I think
Chocolate Donuts asks no.
I think that what makes a black person ghetto, like it's stupid. Okay, like IShowSpeed isn't ghetto. He's just a personality. He's like he's hyper. Okay, he's hyper. He moves around a lot. He's entertaining. This is what he does it for show. He shows off. I mean, I think his genuine personality comes through in his content.
Chocolate Donuts said, "I don't think is ghetto. I said he acts
Let
that
me
way.
let me
to
put
be
it let me put it to you
attract
this way.
views."
Let me put it to you this way. If a white person were doing what he's doing and acting like he's acting, we wouldn't call them ghetto. Okay? And anyway, I really like IShowSpeed. I think that he makes decent content. He's pro-Palestine. A lot of people like him. Okay, do people watch him because they are racist and they want to see a black person act hyper?
Chocolate Donuts
Maybe.
asks white people
Maybe.
will never be labeled as ghetto because why would white people hate their own people?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. My point is that the like, you know, what makes IShowSpeed a ghetto, and it's just his blackness. Okay, it's just him being black. Okay, if a white person were doing what he was doing, you wouldn't use that word. And I'm not calling you a racist. Okay, I'm not calling you like a evil racist. Obviously not. Okay, but he, like, IShowSpeed is like, probably, you know, I was talking about how Hassan is like a you know, a great streamer. That, like, IShowSpeed is also like similar to Hassan. Okay, he doesn't make he doesn't do political commentary. Okay, but he is staunchly anti-Israel. Okay, he's pro-Palestine. And he's not shy about it. Okay, he's not shy about his political disposition, and that's something I really respect. So IShowSpeed is a great content creator, man. He is. I love him. Yeah, I don't care if he showed his penor on stream. Okay, it was an accident. It was an accident.
Chocolate Donuts said it is ghetto because he does that in public to gain attention. He doesn't talk about political views because no one wants to see a black man speak on human rights. Chocolate Donuts said it was not an accident. LMAO again, he does it for views.
I've seen the clip. I think it was probably an accident. I think it, like, 99% chance. Because, like, look, IShowSpeed, he didn't need to do that at the time. Like, I'm pretty sure he had just played Fortnite with Drake when that happened.
Chocolate
Okay,
Donuts
like,
said LMAO dude was dancing so hard and free ballin'.
yeah, I mean, you know, it's whatever. It happens, man. It happens. But anyway, he doesn't talk about political views because no one wants to see a black man speak on human rights. It's not the focus of his content. You know, yeah, I agree with that. But no, he does talk about his political views. Yeah, and he does it in a charming and funny way. You know, what's that one clip? Bye bye Israel. Yo, I love this shit. I live for this.
Chocolate Donuts said I'm just saying the top streamers are either white gamers,
Bye-bye.
chicks, or Hispanics and just chatting.
Yo, one more time.
Right here. Israel's right here.
Israel's right here.
Bye-bye, Israel!
He did not click on Israel. But I like the sentiment.
Bye-bye!
I'm just saying the top streamers are either white gamers, hot tub chicks, or Hispanics in just chatting. Alright. How am I gonna fit into this? How am I gonna be a top streamer, bro? What am I gonna do? I've been blowing up recently, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. I've been getting a lot of hate watchers. Check this shit out.
Set in.
And
Wait, no, not this
diversity.
one.
It's a
Set in.
Yeah, this is it, yeah.
Chocolate Donuts said you can't because I told you infinite times that you need to be a grifter.
Dude, what does this look like, man? I think I am grifting. These guys are going crazy. I'm getting so much hate. I'm loving it.
Chocolate Donuts asks, are you getting paid?
Not yet. I told you infinite times. You need to be. Oh yeah. Oh, uh-oh. I didn't see this one. See, I don't get alerts for all of my comments. It's annoying. So I miss them sometimes. Like, I swear I did not get an alert for this one.
Chocolate Donuts said this is off topic, but have you seen this LMAO https://fortnite/status/19988957601044150
Oh, Kim Kardashian is in Fortnite? That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, this is never gonna happen. It's never fucking happening again. I would love for Travis Scott to be back in the shot, bro. I'd buy him. Wait, that came out wrong. Wait, not like that. I didn't mean it like that. Anyway, back to this shit.
Go to jail for that. But this ultimately just becomes a recruitment poster for nationalism.
Oh yeah, wait,
Chocolate
hold on.
Donuts said no, that is not cool. That's gonna give kids a you-know-what.
No, I don't know what. What are we talking about? Fucking Lord Voldemort right now? Oh yeah, this one was pretty funny. Whatever, man. Where's the guy that called me a terrorist, man? I want the guy that called me a terrorist. Shit. Make...
Chocolate
there he is.
Donuts said people that are discovering her are gonna Google her and find her sex video LMAO.
Oh, that's what you meant. Okay. She has a sex video? Was that with Hulk Hogan? Was that the Hulk? Am I crazy? Am I remembering this wrong? Is that the Hulk Hogan sex tape? Yo, that guy was mega racist. Hulk Hogan was like a mega bigot, bro. It's crazy.
Chocolate Donuts said Hulk? LMAO, she loves black men. It was Brandy's brother Ray J.
Who did Hulk Hogan have a sex tape with? I forgot.
It just proves beyond any doubt that the elite will use the full force of the law to crush any resistance through their little project. And in doing so, they only deepen the anger of the people who insist that their nation and their people are worth defending. They're just shooting themselves in the foot. Now, another reason that nationalism is attacked because it is tied to history and tradition, and the globalists need to erase the past to control the future. So, for example, a people with a strong sense of their own history, they have a measuring stick. You go look at China, man. Their history is insanely long. China is, for the Chinese people, obviously.
Chocolate
Chinese people, they have
Donuts
heroes,
said
stories
heading
of
to the
sacrifice,
casinos
cultural
in a
memories
few
of
hours.
all their achievements. Right?
I am
This is
gonna
really with
lose
any
it
country.
all.
I'm just using China as an example.
Chocolate Donuts said even my driver said she doesn't gamble.
Well, have fun losing it all, man. That's good for you. Hey, who knows? Maybe you'll get lucky. Who knows? You know what they say, the house always loses. So if you just play for long
Donuts
enough...
said not all. Just $1,000.
$1,000? Oh,
Chocolate
$100.
Donuts said oops 100.
$100? Well, hey, look, if you lose it all, just take out another $100.
Chocolate
just
Donuts
bet more
said
money.
lol.
You'll win eventually. Right? You could just keep gambling until you break even.
This allows them to look at the decay of their
Chocolate
society, which was
Donuts
revert back to
said
the West,
no,
not China.
I can't be
This allows
evicted.
Westerners to look at the decay and degeneracy that's happening now, and they can actually correctly identify it.
Degeneracy,
They're not crazy when they say that. But this consciousness of history is dangerous to the ruling class. And I don't mean that in like sort of a saying kind of way. It's like, no, that's actually threatening to their power. That's why they hate it so much. So to create a passive consumer globalist citizen who doesn't have any idea of his history and he's rootless and
Chocolate
deracinated,
Donuts said,
you must
by
first
the
make them
way,
ashamed of
is
their past. This is when all
Outlast
the
Trials
anti-white stuff started
installed?
popping up.
New
This is why the
enemy.
education
I
system
think
has
I
been
did
turned into an
uninstall it,
indoctrination camp as
bro.
well. Now, for a very long time,
Let me check.
Teachers or professors or whatever, it doesn't
I
matter
did.
if it's in just regular school or
I'll
college.
reinstall
They've
it.
taught that Western history is just a bunch of crimes and it's oppression, and that patriotism is a form of
Yeah, I
bigotry.
want to try that new enemy.
Monuments, for example, to
Chocolate
national
Donuts
heroes are
said,
torn down,
"Goddamn it,
and it's not to the
Jacob."
correct history.
I was doing something, bro. I was doing something. I had to make some space.
Chocolate Donuts said I almost called you by your full name.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, don't do that, man. Not anymore. Are you seeing these comments? People are going gaga right now, bro. I encourage you to read through some of this shit. It's crazy. It's crazy. These people...
Chocolate Donuts said Jacob Hernandez.
Yeah, that's me.
Chocolate Donuts said which video is it?
My latest Actual Justice Warrior video where I announced that I would stop watching Actual Justice Warrior. Look at how young he looks in this video. That's crazy. Those were the days.
Chocolate Donuts said, I bet one of them called you a basement dweller.
Yeah, I just read that one. Yeah, I guess you saw that too. Yeah. Yeah, one of them said something about basement. It's like, okay, man. All right, yeah. Basement dweller. What is, Americans will do this, like, poverty shaming thing. But then they'll also, like, you're too poor, you're not
Chocolate
poor
Donuts
enough,
asks,
you're
who
not
is
rich
showing your
enough.
page?
Who is showing your page? I don't know. No one. Actually, we can look at the analytics.
Chocolate Donuts said, I agree about poverty shaming.
95% come from YouTube recommendations. And I don't know why YouTube is recommending me still. I don't know. I thought I would have been blacklisted by now. But yeah, I mean, that's how people are seeing it. And I'm cool with it. I love the hate. I like hearing people's perspectives.
Chocolate Donuts asks, how does Hassan get so many views?
He's been doing this a long time. He already has an audience. He has a team of, not really a team, but like, there's this group of people that all they do is they record his streams, they edit clips, and they post them. Okay? And a lot of streamers in the past have discouraged that kind of thing, but Hassan was like all for it. He was like, yeah, like, make clips, and so he lets them do that, and they keep all of the revenue, okay, from the views and the AdSense. And yeah, so basically he has this whole legion of people that just clip farm. Okay, they just make clips of him and make money off the AdSense, and that's just one reason that he has been. I think that's one of the main reasons he's gotten to his current position. Okay, it's all about automating. It's all about.
Chocolate Donuts said, since it's not installed, here's a clip of the bitch.
Oh. Alright.
Chocolate Donuts said, oh god, how do you make sure she doesn't speak out the link?
You can't. That's terrifying. She's so fast. Get out of there, bro. Oh, he's dead for sure. Who's Doc Holliday?
I got a better idea.
If, God forbid, things go up in a puff of smoke.
Chocolate Donuts
Where
said,
you came
sound
in,
southern
yeah,
dude I
Been
found.
streaming this for past almost
Chocolate
6
Donuts
hours.
said some.
I need to get that game. Some southern dude I found.
Like when they say,
Alright,
it's
is that
'cause
JFK?
this guy is bad.
That's JFK.
General Lee is bad. No, it's just to erase all the examples of greatness and virtue. And it just leaves a blank slate for the
Nothing
elites to now write
bad
on.
ever
I hope that makes
happens
sense.
to the
You'll have
Kennedys.
the media,
Hey.
which, as I've said in past videos, they're just guard dogs for the institutions and stuff. 24/7, the media will be framing any love of the country as a step towards Mohican evil fascism, or whatever they like to say. The language is twisted, too. Nationalism is deliberately and falsely equated with Nazism, while the deliberate destruction
What?
of a society through mass immigration
Huh?
is called. And it's not to correct history. Like when they say, it's because this guy is bad. General Lee is bad. No, it's just to erase all the examples of greatness and virtue. And it just leaves a blank slate for the elites to now write on. I hope that makes sense.
General Lee fought to defend slavery. He fought to defend chattel slavery. It goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, General Lee did have some virtues, technically, that are admirable. Okay? Again, he defended chattel slavery. Okay, but he was brave. He was courageous. He fought in battle. Okay, he was a fucking American through and through. But yeah, he he fought to defend slavery. What are we
You'll have the
talking
media,
about?
which,
man?
as I've said in past videos, they're just
What?
guard dogs for the institutions and stuff. 24/7, the media will be framing any love of the country as a step towards Mohican evil fascism or whatever they like to say. Language is twisted too. Nationalism is deliberately and falsely equated with Nazism, while the deliberate destruction of a society through mass...
Okay, so Nazis were hyper-nationalist. That is undeniable. That's not conflation. That is just an accurate description of what it was. Okay, Germany for the Germans. That's nationalism. How is that not nationalism? Like, like you have to be living in an alternate reality to look at the Nazis and say that's not nationalism. That's not nationalism because the Nazis are bad and nationalism good. Yeah, man.
Immigration is called diversity. Even psychology is weaponized. I went over this in one of my past videos as well, with natural, healthy attachments to one's own people being labeled as a phobia, an ism, or a disorder, and you need to be cured right now. They're very militant, like the way I just said that about that. But the stunning hypocrisy in all of this is made for Israel. The same people who will call borders racist and bad and whatever stupid, made-up, fake and gay reason that they want to make up. And national identity is bad. Nationalism is bad. They call this a social construct.
What the fuck? Are you even... have you been sleeping for the past year and a half, 2 years? What? You think that the woke, the blue-haired, the purple-haired feminist is pro-Israel? I mean, like, have you been paying attention? Like, genuinely, what the fuck are you going on about, man?
For whatever gender, stupid stuff, right? They're the most fervent supporters of the ethno-state that proudly defends its borders and its demographic integrity.
Yeah, man. You know who's defending the apartheid regime the most? It's blue-haired liberals. Yeah, man.
It's literally an ethno-state.
Sure.
It's a nationalist ethno-state. This double standard, though, it just reveals the truth. The problem is not actually with nationalism, because they're all supportive of this very nationalistic country. So obviously, nationalism
they're
in and of itself...
all very support. Dude, okay, I'm kidding. This person has not been living under a rock for the past 2 years. He's just lying. He's just saying, the libs, they be supporting Israel. Okay? But conservatives, they do not support Israel. They are America first. Delusional.
Is not the problem. The problem is with
fucking
your
delusional.
Nationalism. They believe in nationalism for themselves and their preferred groups, but they demand self-erasure from you. They will say your replacement is a moral good. You being replaced. Oh, stop being a heckin' stupid chud, you chud bucket. While they would
nobody says that. They just say you're stupid. Like, like, what kind of straw man is this? What liberal says this? Okay, when a liberal is confronted with white replacement theory, let me tell you something, man. They're probably not going to say, yeah, white people are being replaced, and it's awesome. Okay? If they say that, they are foolish, and nobody fucking says that. You're not going to convince me that anybody fucking says that. Genuinely, okay? If you do say that, you're being paid, and I don't know by who, because I don't know who would pay you to fucking say that, okay? But, like, that's it. Okay, anyway, when liberals are confronted with the white replacement theory, what they say is, that's bullshit. That's wrong. White people aren't being replaced. So, no, like, they aren't saying it's happening and it's actually epic and wholesome chungus or whatever the fuck you're saying.
Any suggestion of the same for their own homeland as a call for genocide. We have to deploy the Samson option. This proves that the anti-national narrative is not a philosophy. It's actually just a weapon, right? So, last but not least, not just complaining. Some people in the comments will be like, Jimmy just complains. You just got to make it to the end of the video, bruh. There's always a solution. But one last example, right? The idea of the melting pot. This was always a stretch. Just wanted to touch up on this. This idea was always a stretch. but it could only ever work with people who shared a basic civilizational foundation. And that is why the immigration from European countries to the Americas worked well. Like before the whole big Ellis Islander wave, it was mostly English and Irish people. So there were some Germans thrown in there after a while. But at the very, very beginning of America, more so at the beginning, it was mostly English people. And we've had more different kinds come in. There was a Spanish in the south near Florida. There was the French people and all of them up
Northeast.
in like Montreal, modern day Canada. And then we had the English people in the 13 colonies. And then as time went
Yeah,
on,
man.
the Germans showed up. And then we had the big Ellis Island wave, like the Italians, the Polish, every other group, right? This mainly worked, though, because it was people from Europe that were Christians. Nowadays, this melting pot is totally different. This is not assimilation. It is.
Yeah, they were just like us. They were just like us, totally. Yeah, famously, German, Irish culture, it was exactly like American culture, and that's how they assimilated so well. Are you fucking listening to yourself, man? Do you know what people said about those guys back then? They said they're dirty Catholics. They're evil Catholics. Okay? And Germans were like what did they call them? Like white rats or something? Right? Like they were like white people, you know, but not really. They weren't white people, you know. They were like the bottom of the barrel white people. Okay? So like you're acting like these guys came here and they just assimilated so well, and everybody was just so nice to them because they assimilated so well. No, man, there was a clash, right? There were racists who said, we need to get all of these Irish people, non-white Irish people, non-white German people, we got to get them out. They're not white, you know, no matter how white their skin is, right? Like how light their complexion is, it didn't fucking matter. Okay, they weren't white. They didn't consider them white. They wanted them out. Racist people wanted them out. Okay, they did. So it actually does kind of sound like exactly what is happening today. Except now it's brown people from Muslim countries, from African countries, from South America. Okay, and they have become the out group. Okay, so where before it was Irish and Germans, now it's brown people. Okay, that's it. You're done.
By third world countries, people who don't look like us, sound like us, they don't have the shared religion. They have no intention of assimilating either. That was also a big difference back in the Ellis Islander days, and before that as well. They wanted to assimilate to the idea.
Yeah, famously, all of the Ellis Island immigrants, they just immediately dropped their culture. And they were like, fuck my old culture. I'm an American now. You know, I'm an American. Yeah, fuck my old culture. No, dude. That's not how it works. People move to America and they bring their culture with them. They always have. They always will. Okay? And they assimilate, but they hold on to their culture. They hold on to their heritage. Okay? They bring their food here. They bring their traditions. They bring everything. Okay, they do. And you're like, that's wrong. That's wrong. The white German people didn't do that. When, yeah, the fuck they did. Yes, they did. What the fuck are you smoking?
Of Americanism, like we are here, the old country. You know, we're still Italians ethnically. Sorry, but we want to assimilate to Americanism. But often nowadays, these people are openly hostile to the host country that they have, which is America and all the other Western ones. And people will notice this. They'll be like, why do these people come here if they hate it so much? Well, actually, it's normalized for them. Like, part of assimilating is hating America. That's normal for them because that's the idea that's been put in. It's that white people in America is bad and they did everything bad to the world and this, that, and the other. That's normal for them to think. It's just normal.
Immigrants just hate America. They just hate America. It's true. It's true. They just hate America. They're assimilating, and they're assimilating into hating America. Yeah, man. Yeah, man, because that's exactly what somebody would do when they move here for a better life. They would just hate America. You know, what else would they do?
To them to actually be against America. This whole country sucks, blah, blah, blah. It's not the land of opportunity. So when you see that all of them are pretty hateful about America, I mean, that's the new normal.
So I think he is actually encroaching on an interesting subject, which is that all throughout America's history, people have moved here and they've discovered that it's not exactly what they thought it was going to be. Okay, because America is the land of the free, you know, land of opportunity. And in the past, it has been that. Okay, like there has been actual upward mobility. You know, you could move here, you could get a job, you could move up. Okay, that's not true anymore. Right? We all know that. But anyway, that's kind of the way it was back then. But what happens is people move here, and they realize that it's not really what they thought it was going to be. Okay, because of the racism. Because when people move here, they never think that the racism is going to affect them. Okay, they never do. And you can say that that's naive. You can say that that's silly of them. You know, I don't know. I can't blame people that are moving here. But anyway, this is a thing that happens. Okay, people get here, and then they realize, like, oh, okay, like, all right, like this. And maybe they were expecting it before they got here. But I think a lot of immigrants, they come here and they're kind of surprised by the bigotry, by the racism. And so anyway, this doesn't make immigrants hate America. That's not what I'm saying. It doesn't. Okay? They don't like the racism. Okay? But they moved to America for a reason. They like America, and, you know, some white people getting all racist or whatever isn't really going to change that. Okay. But immigrants will be honest about this, okay, because they are people, and they will speak about their lived experiences. Okay. So if you do talk to immigrants, they may tell you, you know, I experienced racism. I didn't like it. It's not what I expected when I came here. You know, you'll hear them talk about that, and a person like this will hear that, and they'll be like, you hate America. You think we're all racist. And it's stupid. It's stupid, man.
In order for that. But anyways, importing them is a deliberate act of sabotage, and it's designed, as I said, to create permanent division and weaken the cohesion between everyone in our country. So, given this total war on every front that I just discussed, like the economic, the political, the cultural, jailing people, the psychological impact, like I said, quite early on, the only possible answer here as a forceful reassertion is nationalism. It's that simple. It is the only framework that can restore the balance between the individual and the collective, and realign the government with the interests of its own people and secure the nation's borders, and get rid of the corrupting influence of the global, the air quotes, globalists, them boys, and begin the difficult work of rebuilding society based on that trust, and that shared sacrifice, and the common future, the common good. So, nationalism, anything else other than nationalism is just surrender. In my opinion, it's just surrender. Now, we can have different opinions, agree to disagree, that's fine, but that's something I'm not going to move on that. You can't convince me otherwise. Nationalism is the only way to get back in that house that's on fire from earlier, my earlier example, and put out that fire. That's the only way. So that's really the whole entire solution. Usually solutions, I'm like, I have steps and processes and shit. No, just, we need nationalism, that's all. So, all right, guys, that's all for me today. Thank you for sticking all the way to the end if you did.
Nobody is trying to tell you that you can't be proud of your country at all. Okay? I criticize America all the time. There are a lot of things about America that I don't like. Okay? But at the end of the day, I'm an American. I love America. It's my home. I love it here. Okay? I don't always love it. Okay? There are a lot of things I don't love so much about it. But I do love this country. Okay? And it's okay to feel patriotic. It's okay to feel that way. I don't really feel that way so much these days, okay, with everything that's going on. But there's a time and a place for patriotism. There's a time and a place to feel proud of your country. Okay? Specifically, that time and place is when your country does good things for people. Okay? When it does good shit. Okay? When it does bad things, that's not really the time for patriotism. And that's why you're not going to catch me celebrating the 4th of July this year. Okay? Or you didn't catch me celebrating it this year. Okay? I actually streamed that day and I wore all black. Okay? And I'll be doing the same thing next year. And the year after that. Because in this administration, with this government, there is less to be proud of than ever. Okay, like I want to be proud of my country. I want to feel patriotic. I have in the past. And And yeah, but like when there's not much to be proud of, that's it. Like there's just not much to be proud of. Okay, I'm sorry, man. I'm not gonna be a nationalist ever. Okay, but I'm not even gonna be patriotic when our country is black bagging brown people and brutally disappearing them. Anyway. Let's find out what gloving is.
There's so much gloving lore about the heavy hitters involved in the sport, and it can be quite intense.
Created the most dangerous style in gloving.
Chocolate
in 2008, two gloving
Donuts
legends by the
said
name of Long John and Teardrop
LMAO,
started changing the
holy
colors of the lights in their
shit.
gloves
So
from one
many
hand to the other.
comments on
It turns
your
out glovers can
video.
take themselves
Yeah, I
extremely
really got
seriously,
under
and this is
their
what many
skin.
posters are satirizing. Then there's the phrase degloved, which outside of gloving is a horrific injury in which your skin comes off, but in the gloving community means being banned and having your gloves removed, so you can't do it anymore. Gloving essentially involves putting on light shows for people at nightclubs, raves, concerts, and the like. Anywhere where there's a dark space and the lights can shine.
Oh, yeah.
Often you'll get clips of people pretending to be glovers and talking about being unemployed, implying the hobby is something only those without a job would do. There's plenty of videos on social media of people going out and giving light shows to audiences in real life.
How am I doing?
So this is a thing that has been going on for many years. EDM concepts like plur, peace, love, unity, respect, are often thrown around in these clips, connecting them with the dance scene. Done properly, gloving does look kind of cool, but it seems some people lack the self-awareness to realize it can look
Chocolate
pretty
Donuts
goofy.
said
This is it.
Kevin
WTF
Cubley,
is
aka
gloving.
Puppet,
This
is
is
the
what it
glover who
is.
gives the biggest lowdown on the law and community around gloving, and you can tell he really cares about this profession with his videos about the most dangerous style of gloving.
Dangerous?
Due to the fact that he is the most prominent figure on social media regarding exploring the scene, it would appear that many are interacting with him specifically due to this increased interest in the sport. The best part is that the people who started off poking fun at gloving have rehearsed routines enough times that, if they turn the lights out, they'd probably stand a chance of being recognized for it. So Winnie has demonstrated her ability to copy many of the moves glovers present to audiences, and she's been commendably making clips about it for a huge chunk of 2025.
We are Charlie Kirk, we carry the flame.
Then there's the fake beef between
We'll fight
Hoopify
for the
and Draco
gospel.
Army, with some
We'll
creators
honor his
describing it
name.
as an
Said, "I am
up-and-coming
so
civil
glad
war.
I
We
have
are
my
So it
Charlie
seems
Kirk.
gloving
left
is
on
fast
this earth."
becoming an insane, chronically online trend that began with a niche community and has continued
like
to
10
blossom
years
into
left on this earth?
2025.
I'm sorry to hear that, man. I don't think you ever told me that. I hope whatever you're going through, you beat it.
With a full-on
Chocolate Donuts said, "Oh, I wanted it to be 10 years. This generation is wild lol."
True. True. Gen Z just don't give a fuck, man. Honestly, I didn't even expect the Charlie Kirk shit. And I didn't like the guy. You know, I abhorred him, in fact. But, yeah, I didn't think my generation would go this
Chocolate
hard.
Donuts said, "I am not dying. Booty don't want to be an old man and being 70 and working."
Well, hopefully you won't be. I don't think you will be. I think we're all gonna make it, man. Like, think about it. You heard Ben Shapiro like a year ago or whenever the fuck it was. He said, what did he say? He said that nobody should retire at 65, right? He was saying that we should raise the retirement age. That was incredibly unpopular. I mean, that was when he really started bleeding viewers. Like, that's when his audience started hemorrhaging. Like, majorly. Okay? It kind of started happening earlier with the Israel sentiment. And, like, he started losing viewers then. But yeah, when he said that, people went fucking gaga over it, okay? Conservatives, they did not agree with him. They did not like that. Jacob, I'm sorry, bro, but I don't want to get this shock value. How is that any more traumatic than 9/11? People literally jumped out of buildings to prevent being burned to death. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm not saying that it's bad or wrong. You know, I think it's funny. Like I said, I don't like Charlie Kirk. You know, rest in peace, I guess. I'll stand by what I said, you know, as milquetoast as my view on it may be. Like, I don't think he should have been assassinated. I think that's crazy. Okay, that's great. Like, I don't want to see more of that. But, you know, again, I don't feel bad for him. I don't know. Yeah, like, keep making memes. They're funny. They're funny. And it's a good distraction from the vile rhetoric that he spewed. Okay, like if it weren't for the memes, people would be reading his quotes. People would be, and that may resonate with some people. You know, he said a lot of racism. He did. So, yeah, I'm loving it. Okay, I'm all here for
revival. What meme would you guys like me to give a lesson in next? Let me know.
We are Charlie Kirk. We carry the flame. We'll fight for the gospel. We'll honor his name. We are Charlie Kirk. His courage our own. Together unbroken, we'll make heaven known.
Chocolate Donuts said https://x.com/i/status/1998614700647076060.
Oh wait, I think I've seen this.
Chocolate Donuts said I got a hit tweet on my other account about Kirk LMAO.
It's interesting. What I miss the most,
29,000.
What
They're
really
like
just
300,000 likes,
is
dude?
when I'm in the grocery store.
This is you?
And I see his hot sauce. I want to buy it. Or
She always looking up to the sky when she talk about him. Girl, look down. You know? That's crazy, man. That's
things,
crazy work.
You know, his
Chocolate
clothes
Donuts
everywhere.
said
Excuse me, but it's the little things, and I know that people who have experienced loss totally understand what I'm saying. It's the small things that just get you. It's the visual.
Donut, you went crazy. You went
Tad
mask
coming
off,
home,
bro.
And to the world, he was Charlie Kirk, but to us, he was my love of my life and my children's dad. I'm so sorry. Understandable. Excuse me,
Chocolate
but
Donuts said
it's
the
those
more I
little
see her, the
things
more I
where,
feel like she's exploiting
again,
this
he
shit.
would walk through the door, drop his bags.
Oh, that's
Daddy's
for
home,
sure.
Take his.
Yeah, no, I'm done, like, humoring the idea that she's not grifting. Okay, she is. Okay, now, I'm not saying that means that...
Chocolate Donuts said her eyes are so demonic. God damn.
Yeah, I mean, she's a pretty despicable person, but anyway, first of all, I think that she is honoring his memory in the sense that this is what he would want. Like, he would want her to grift. Okay, straight up, like Charlie Kirk would want her to do this. Okay, the JD Vance stuff, maybe he wouldn't like that so much, but you know, whatever. Anyway, yeah, Erica Kirk, her feelings may be genuine. You know, she, like, I don't know, man. She lost her husband. She's probably actually sad about that. I don't think that's crazy to think.
Chocolate
but she is
Donuts
grifting.
asks why should she get so much publicity? Okay, people die every day. What about these children?
Yeah, there was a school shooting the same day he died, and everybody fucking forgot. I mean, I would say everybody forgot about it. Nobody really knew about it to begin with. Okay, it didn't really make the news. Not really. I mean, I heard about it. I talked about it. Maybe some other people did.
Chocolate Donuts said BS. I don't see any tears. Fake ass hoe.
Yeah, I do see her, like, dabbing her around her eyes, but there's never any tears there. But I don't know. Maybe it's just not showing up on camera. I don't know. Either way, like, I don't think that means that her feelings are completely disingenuine. Okay? Just because she's grifting doesn't mean she don't miss her husband. Okay? And it's an important distinction. Okay? Because, you know, you have to be kind of careful with language like this. You know, we're talking about a person that her husband was brutally executed.